Right, and we're going to move on with my bullet points because I still have two in the sort of headlines of the day. Security, insecurity, the police, one commission against the Inspector General. Is this part of Plan A?
The key point here to make is this, that the Constitution demarcated powers. It established the office of the Inspector General of Police, gave it complete powers, and by the way, it is completely insulated from the executive and power play.
Right, so the mistake to the man who's following, or woman who's following our conversation, is to have two commissions, two entities dealing with the same thing.
No.
That is the problem.
The office of the Inspector General of Police is given the constitutional powers on the independent command of the police service. The office of the National Commission, the National Police Service Commission,
as in Mr. Kavuludi,
yes, deals with the matters of policy and personnel.
Right.
And by the way, the Inspector General of Police sits in the National Police Service Commission.
Right.
So there is absolutely no
I'm still
conflict
drawing on you because that's
yes.
part of your livelihood.
Yeah.
I'm asking to say, who is to blame in the current standoff? Who's making a mistake? Because somebody like you as an institution, you should be able to say, Kimayo oughtn't to be telling Kavuludi. Can't you make that kind of judgment in a forum such as this?
No, it's very clear to me that the Inspector General of Police has to remain strictly within his mandate.
Which is, you say?
He has the independent command of the National Police, where he sits in the National Police Service Commission, which defines the policy and the personnel.
Right. So
and he himself, he sits in that commission.
Right. So if one person accuses the other of being responsible for insecurity, is that accusation well-founded?
They are engaging us in a game of musical chairs.
Right. Expand.
I expand it this way.
Yeah.
There is no contradiction or conflict in terms of these institutions. In fact, when you look carefully at the National Police Service Act 2011, it is very, very solid and very clear. Let me ask you a simple question to Kenyans. Why would you want to amend the National Police Service Act 2011 before even you have implemented it? You implement a law, along the way you find that it has teething problems.
Well, but before you ask Kenyans, maybe their response is they don't know what's contained in the act.
That law,
they don't know, which is why the man in the street is obfuscated, hoodwinked, browbeaten into incoherence, because they don't know what's happening. Let me tell you,
just for in a basic way.
And the tacit thing is that the education that you might, because you're basically, you in your institution, you are a knowledgeable individual. The underlying point of all my questioning is how do you pass on what you know to the great mass of the Kenyan people?
The point to make is simple. The Constitution and the National Police Service Act 2011 created a very astute leadership and management of the National Police Service. It also created a process of transforming the police service. Part of that is it removed close to about 6 ranks that were there previously and consolidated them to come up with a harmonized system of the policing system and in terms of command and responsibilities. The other thing it did is that it established a clear mechanism of conducting a thoroughgoing vetting process of the current police service. So the bone of contention, actually, let me tell you the truth, is that the old order that is highly entrenched in the police service has completely refused to give way to that transformation.
Right. Another headline, African Union, ICC just ended 50th anniversary of the African Union, and the ICC is a racist institution picking on Africa. They should let us deal with our own legal problems. 2
things. One is that the International Criminal Court, if you look at all the cases before it, were either referred by all those governments. In fact, in 2004, Museveni referred his country to the ICC. The Central African Republic was referred by the Central African government. The DRC case was referred by the DRC government. In the Kenyan case, it is none other than the president, the former president and the former prime minister standing outside Harambee House in the presence of the prosecutor, who announced that they were free to cooperate and work with the International Criminal Court prosecutor. So where is the court hunting Africans down? it is actually the African governments that actually referred themselves to the ICC. So African governments have been taking themselves there. The other thing is this, that because outside the case of Bashir, which was referred to the ICC through the UN Security Council because Sudan was not a member of the Rome Statute, basically. And the ICC, part of the trigger mechanism for reference of cases there is the UN Security Council, basically. So what happened in the African Union, for me, is not new. In fact, in 2009, they passed a similar resolution at Sirte, Libya. Similar one, the same wording, the same everything. So the issue here is this: why are we African countries not able to build credible, independent, and effective institutions of justice, which are able to take care of our own criminals? Let me give you a challenge, and I want to give African challenge. African countries, through the AU, were given an opportunity to set up a special tribunal to prosecute Hussein Habri, the former president of Chad. Up to today, we are with you. They have never been able to set it. African Union was given a challenge through the high panel headed by former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, to set up a special tribunal to prosecute crimes in Sudan. Up to today, they have never done it. So the point is this: Africans are crying for justice, but their institutions nationally are not able to offer for that justice. So Africans find confidence in those justice systems that they have an assurance that they can get justice. The point is, African Union does not put its money where its mouth is.
So you're, and a further thing, you're talking about Africans in general. When we people,
I mean the African population and the victims of human rights violations.
Exactly, but when you have demonstrations such as we had the Occupy Parliament the other day, the accusation is that here are these people, they don't know how to go about it, they're slaughtering pigs outside Parliament. So I go back to the fundamental question: you know what's what? What is civil society? What is the Wananchi? What is Wanjiku? What is Atieno to do in the next 5 years to make sure that these things change? Or do we just read one headline into another and say, oh my gosh, I'm so depressed, I want to go home and sleep?
No, I want to give Kenyans hope. And I want to give them hope this way. First and foremost, they need to understand civil society is not that organization in Nairobi. If you're not part of the state and you're not part of the capital, that is market, you are civil society. From your local village groups that you run and manage every day, you are part of civil society. What then do I say? Where is our answer? We as Kenyans, we did a revolution on 4th of August 2010. We established a constitution, or we enacted and gave to ourselves a constitution that is extremely revolutionary. I can tell you this, John, and Kenyans everywhere they are, that even if Parliament hit the roof, the constitutional framework that we have, they cannot move even an inch. Kenyans set the parameters of operation. They removed arbitrariness of the state.
But you've just explained to me in the course of our conversation at least 3 instances in which the government in power is riding roughshod over the provisions of that constitution.
But I can tell you this,
so
one of the single biggest success...
I'm seeing this wonderful bit of paper lying there. It might as well be the Bible, the Quran, and everything else that holds...
you know, one success, John, one thing that we have not been able to document, John, is this. One is that there has been so many incidences that Kenyans, as the private citizens, have litigated against government actions, and they have won all of them. That means that the constitution they gave to themselves has been a major deterrent. Number 2, you as media, civil society organizations, they have a free space of operation and being able to access information around the state. Just a few weeks ago, the judge in the High Court made it absolutely clear that it is your right to access information held by the state. What does that mean? Today, we have every opportunity to hold the state and the state holders of those offices accountable. So for me, the issue to tell Kenyans is this: we must, as Kenyans, get ourselves out of the old order and get ourselves to the new order.
And therefore for you, the glass is half full and not half empty.
I think the point here is this, that how do we get ourselves as Kenyans move away from the old way of thinking and doing things and operate within the new parameters we set ourselves? Take, for instance, If today we told the members of parliament, we give you a salary of 530,000 Kenya shillings, it has to be taxed because that's the rule. The remainder of that money is actually what is your money. But we as Kenyans, we have no business going back to the same member of parliament and are saying the member has not been coming to visit us. It means we Kenyans, we are the ones, we want to have the cake and eat it. We must get ourselves out of that. We must have what you call a socio-cultural behavior that we have been having of thinking that our leaders are social agents. They are not. You cannot enforce accountability if you yourself as a society, you have not changed your socio-cultural behavior.
Ndung'u Wainaina, Director of the International Center for Policy and Conflict, or ICPC. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for